Welcome to Reread. Well, we're back at the Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and I'm going to be covering two more short stories. The first one's by Kathy Tyers. It's called The Prize Belt, and this is from Bossk. Now, I've seen a lot of people say this. They love Bossk. You know, Bossk is really cool. Sure, he looks super evil, right? He's some like reptilian bounty hunter. He looks just wicked. He's scary looking. And I like how Kathy Tyers, again, goes in a different direction. But she did something that I even forgot this time. Reading in chronological order really helped me. First off, Bossk isn't going just to get Han Solo. His main priority is to get Chewbacca. He wants his pelt because he hunts Wookiee pelts. You know, and I like that. Suddenly, this is someone who doesn't have it in for Han Solo. I mean, sure, he'll capture Han Solo for the money, but he wants Chewbacca. That's kind of different, and it makes sense. Now, it said earlier that Boba Fett has paid some hunters, bounty hunters, to befriend Bossk, tell them that they know where Han Solo went, you know, and show fake proof, and then lead him off into his... basically his demise. And these two bounty hunters, Tinian and Chinlabak or whatever, are from her short stories from the Adventure Journal. I never made this connection until right now. I'm sorry, I just did not know. I know I read her short stories, but I think I read Tales of Bounty Hunters first and then later on collected the Adventure Journals and just did not make the connection. I'd forgotten since then. And the Adventure Journals did come out first. They came out 2 years before this story came out. So it's really cool that it's about them and they're the ones. And Chinlabak is acting like he hates Wookiees and he'd kill Wookiees anyway. But at the same time, he hates Bossk. Bossk hunts his kind and he really wants to destroy Bossk. And Bossk doesn't trust him at first as they're in the Hound's Tooth, but they have their little droid that was in the Adventure Journal called Flirt, who's flirting with the Hound's Tooth, and the Hound's Tooth, you know, computer is being very wary and very, kind of quiet, not really talking to Flirt, but that's Flirt. Flirt's kind of like a droid slicer, and he's trying to smooth talk the Hound's Tooth into slowly giving them control. So as that's going on, they race him to, there's something called the Hunter's Creed. I should mention this for a minute. There's the Hunter's Creed. Why don't they just kill him, right? If Chinlabak and Tinian, it's 2 against 1, Bossk doesn't, he doesn't suspect anything, why don't they just, put a blaster in the back of his head when he's turned around? Well, the reason is, and Kathy Tyers thought about that, she knew people were going to say that, but she says there's a Hunter's Creed. You don't go after another bounty hunter. Unless they shoot first, then you can go after them. Now, here's the thing. There's a short story that I did earlier about Naris. He's a hunter of bounty hunters. Oh, well, then he must be the most despicable person because he's breaking the Hunter's Creed. Whoever wrote that story, like I said, Naris is not cool at all. I like the idea of the Hunter's Creed, though. Anyway, how this ends is Bossk gets turned in for illegal pelt hunting. That's illegal on this planet. The governor of the planet captures him, and they're going to make a pelt out of Bossk. And Bossk is howling, trying to get away because he knows what's about to happen to him. I guess this is the end of Bossk. Does he escape? I mean, if you look at some Marvel comic books, it's quite possibly he did. But that's all we're told about Bossk. And Tinian is finally completed her apprenticeship. Remember, she was apprenticed under Chinlabak. And it talks about a little bit of her music career, a little bit of a background from Adventure Journals. Kathy Tyers brought all that in, and it's a really good book. But I have to admit, even though I love Kathy Tyers, there is one glaring problem. It's about Tinian and Chinlabak. And it's not that they're bad characters, it's just that the story should be about Bossk, and it really isn't. He's kind of like this side character in the whole story. If she could have done this in Bosk's perspective, I think it would have been better, but I wonder, I enjoyed the story. I really did, because I love the connections from the Adventure Journal that I was just now discovering. But I wonder, wait, would Bossk fans really enjoy this? Could they be talking about 2 bounty hunters that, it basically just stays on them the whole time? Flirt does get control of the Hound's Tooth, and then they get the Hound's Tooth once he gets captured. But I'm thinking, wow, if someone really wanted to read more about Bossk, this is not the short story for them. Even though, again, I did enjoy it. The next one is Of Possible Futures. This is on Zuckuss and Forloom by M. Shane Bale. Believe it or not, this is the one I was very excited to read when I first got the book because as a kid, I loved Forloom. I thought he was the best bounty hunter. When I played with my Kinder toys, he was better than Boba Fett. He was better because he just looked cool. He just looked like a cool alien. He was all in black, My brother had Zuckuss and he loved Zuckuss. He says he didn't, but he played with Zuckuss way more than Boba Fett. Because Zuckuss had this cool kind of rubber cloth coat or whatever. And so anyone who had something like that, and he felt a little bit different, and he was really cool to play with. So my brother loved Zuckuss. Anyway, this happened shortly after the Battle of Hoth. Torrin Farr, who was one of the last people to escape, I think Princess Leia told Torrin to escape. And so Torrin Farr is gathering all the escapees, the injured. They're on a ship that's damaged, and the Empire's slowly bringing Star Destroyers in there, destroying each ship, kind of stripping it for information, then destroying it. And so she's like, oh no, it'll be to us soon. We've got to figure out something. We have escape pods, so a few people can escape, but we have too many people, so some people have to stay here, shred the files, and just die. Meanwhile, Zuckuss and Forloom is with Zuckuss. Zuckuss kind of has a force ability. He can kind of see possible futures, and he's very intuitive, and that's what Forloom is trying to. That's why he's partnered with Zuckuss. He's trying to learn that intuitiveness and have a droid have intuitiveness so he can be a better bounty hunter. It makes sense. Zuckuss, meanwhile, has suffered some tragedy. We're not really told what it is, but his lungs have been badly damaged. And so he's coughing a lot. He's very sick. The treatments for this cost a lot. And so they need the money. They need this money, but he can't appear weak in front of the other bounty hunters. So Forloom is making sure that no one notices Zuckuss isn't at his prime, because he's always calculating numbers. There's a 63.79% chance that most of these bounty hunters will kill him if they see he's weak. Well, you must not have known about the hunter's code or creed there, Forlom. Anyway, Forlom thinks that they have a 100% chance to capture Han Solo because Zuckuss can kind of tell the future or come up with a plan that will easily capture Han Solo. And he does come up with a good plan. He's like, hey, look, let's go back to Hoth, see if there's anyone we can rescue, and tell them, hey, we rescued you. Where can we drop you off? Where's the next base? Like, get in with the rebellion and then capture Han Solo from within. Which Forlom's like, okay, I mean, that has some, a 13% chance or whatever, but let's capture nothing but when they go to the ship. Of course, it's Torrin Farr's ship. They kind of look and see who's alive, and Forlom calculates the top 25 most valuable rebels. That way they can, turn them in for bounties, if anything else. Well, Torrin does not want that. She wants all the injured and sick to go first and leave her, but they eventually end up saving a ton of them, and Torrin comes with them. And just kind of fast forward to the end, they end up joining the rebellion. They figure that, because it didn't work out, they didn't get Han Solo, but they figure they did a good thing. And Zuckuss kind of has a vision in a way that maybe this is the way he should, this is the path he and Forloom should travel, and Forloom is fine with that. He's just going to follow Zuckuss. It's nice, these are the only ones that kind of have a happy ending, and they become good guys, even though we do see them bounty hunt a couple of times. Oh, that's another thing. Zuckuss has a dream that he is helping deliver supplies to a bunch of young Jedi Knights, which I think he's part of young Jedi Knights, if I recall. Either way, though, I love Zuckuss and Forloom. I'm just kind of sad that this is really all we get from them. We really don't get that many stories. Bossk is in the Bounty Hunter Wars. There's a lot of other, interesting, IG-88 is seen here and there a little bit, but Zuckuss and Forloom go largely ignored in the EU. And maybe that's because no one just had interest in them, but me. I really thought they were cool. Either way, both these short stories are excellent, but I got one more I'll talk about next time.